The world watched with bated breath, sensing the tension in the air. Europe, still scarred from the Great War, felt the tremors of unrest. The memories of the past conflict were still fresh, and the wounds had not yet healed. A young, ambitious Adolf Hitler, fueled by nationalist fervor, promised his people glory and expansion. His speeches were filled with promises of a new era, one that would restore Germany to its former greatness. His words resonated with a Germany wounded by economic hardship and the sting of defeat. The people, desperate for change, found hope in his vision. Across Europe, nations watched nervously, hoping to preserve the fragile peace. Diplomatic efforts were made, but the undercurrent of fear was palpable. The year 1939 marked a turning point in history. The world stood on the brink, uncertain of what the future would hold. Hitler's forces marched into Poland, shattering the peace and igniting the flames of war. The invasion was swift and brutal, leaving no doubt about Germany's intentions. Great Britain and France, bound by treaties, declared war on Germany. Their declarations were a solemn acknowledgement that the world was once again at war. The world watched in disbelief as the horrors of war returned, casting a dark shadow across the globe. The memories of the last war were still vivid, and the fear of what was to come was overwhelming. The early years of the war were a whirlwind of German blitzkrieg. The speed and efficiency of the German military machine were unmatched. Poland fell quickly, followed by Denmark, Norway, and France. Each conquest was a testament to the relentless advance of the German forces. The speed and ferocity of the German advance shocked the world. The rapid succession of victories left many in disbelief and fear. Great Britain, standing alone against the Nazi war machine, braced itself for a fight for survival. The resolve of the British people, led by Winston Churchill, would be tested in the days to come. The conflict, once confined to Europe, soon exploded into a global conflagration, engulfing nations far and wide. In 1941, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor brought the United States into the war, marking a pivotal turning point. America, once hesitant to join the fight, now threw its full industrial and military might behind the Allied cause, transforming its economy into a war machine. The war raged on multiple fronts, stretching from the icy waters of the North Atlantic to the scorching deserts of North Africa. In Europe, the battle for the Atlantic raged as German U-boats stalked Allied convoys, threatening vital supply lines. In North Africa, British and German forces clashed in a brutal desert campaign, fighting for control of strategic territories. And in the vast expanse of the Pacific, American and Japanese forces fought a series of bloody battles for control of strategic islands, each side determined to dominate. The sheer scale of the war was staggering, with battles spanning continents and oceans. Millions of soldiers and civilians were caught in the crossfire, their lives forever changed by the relentless conflict. From the beaches of Normandy to the dense jungles of the Pacific, the world became a battlefield, a testament to the widespread devastation of World War II. June 6, 1944, dawned with a mix of hope and trepidation. On that day, Allied forces launched the largest amphibious invasion in history, D-Day. Over 150,000 Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, in a daring gamble to liberate Western Europe from Nazi control. The fighting was fierce, German defenses were formidable, and the casualties were heavy. But the Allies fought with unwavering courage and determination. They fought for their comrades, for their countries, and for the future of freedom itself. D-Day marked a turning point in the war in Europe. The liberation of France had begun, and the grip of Nazi tyranny was slowly beginning to weaken. While the Western Allies fought their way across France, the Eastern Front witnessed some of the most brutal fighting of the entire war. The Soviet Union bore the brunt of the Nazi war machine, enduring unimaginable suffering and sacrifice. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought from August 1942 to February 1943, became a symbol of Soviet resilience and the turning point of the war in the East. The battle raged for months in the ruins of the city, with both sides fighting with unparalleled ferocity. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad marked the beginning of the end for the Nazi war machine. Section 5. Stories of resilience, life on the home front. The war was not only fought on distant battlefields. On the home front, civilians endured hardships and made sacrifices to support the war effort. Women entered the workforce in droves, taking on jobs previously held by men. Rationing became a way of life as food, clothing, and other essential goods were diverted to the military. Children grew up quickly, learning to cope with the absence of loved ones and the constant threat of air raids. The spirit of sacrifice and resilience on the home front was just as crucial to the Allied victory as the bravery of the soldiers on the front lines. Section 6. Leaders and Tyrants Shaping the Course of History. World War II was a clash of ideologies, a battle between freedom and tyranny. It was a conflict that engulfed nations and continents, leaving an indelible mark on history. The war produced some of the most iconic leaders in history, men and women who shaped the course of the conflict and the world we live in today. Their decisions, strategies, and leadership styles influenced the outcome of the war and the future of global politics. Winston Churchill, the indomitable Prime Minister of Great Britain, rallied his nation with his stirring speeches and unwavering determination. His resolve and oratory skills inspired not just his countrymen, but also the Allied forces. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the President of the United States, provided leadership and resources to the Allied cause. His New Deal policies and wartime strategies were crucial in mobilizing the American economy and military. And Joseph Stalin, the ruthless dictator of the Soviet Union, led his people through unimaginable suffering to ultimate victory. His iron-fisted rule and strategic acumen were pivotal in the Eastern Front's success. On the other side of the conflict stood Adolf Hitler, the architect of Nazi Germany's reign of terror. His aggressive expansionism and genocidal policies brought unprecedented destruction and horror. His twisted ideology and insatiable thirst for power plunged the world into darkness. The devastation he caused reshaped borders and societies. The clash between these leaders, for better or for worse, shaped the course of the 20th century. Their legacies, both heroic and tragic, continue to influence our world today. Section 7, A Global Conflict from Pearl Harbor to Hiroshima. The Pacific theater of World War II was characterized by vast distances, brutal island-hopping campaigns, and the horrors of naval warfare. The Japanese, fueled by imperial ambitions, sought to establish dominance in Asia and the Pacific. The United States, drawn into the war by the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, fought back with determination. The battles of Midway, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa were among the most ferocious of the entire war. The dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 brought a swift and devastating end to the war in the Pacific. Section 8, Victory and Remembrance, the Legacy of World War II. After 6 long years of conflict, World War II finally came to an end in 1945. The Allied victory came at a staggering cost. Millions lay dead, cities were reduced to rubble, and the world was forever changed. In the aftermath of the war, there was a profound sense of relief and a determination to build a better world. The United Nations was formed in 1945 with the goal of preventing future conflicts and promoting international cooperation. The war had left an indelible mark on the world, but it had also shown the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. Section 9, A New Dawn, the Post-War World and the United Nations. The end of World War II marked the beginning of a new era. The world was forever changed by the conflict, and a new global order began to emerge. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, but their rivalry soon led to the Cold War. The United Nations, founded in the aftermath of the war, worked to maintain peace and promote international cooperation. The world rebuilt from the ashes of conflict, and new technologies and industries emerged. The legacy of World War II continues to shape the world we live in today, a reminder of the devastating costs of war and the importance of striving for peace.